After the release of the Godzilla King of the Monsters earlier this year, the fate of the MonsterVerse was uncertain for the first time in years. This was largely due to the reception of Godzilla 2014 and Skull Island being mostly positive. However, whether it was a lack of interest from general audiences or another factor entirely, the latest installment didn't attract the same positivity. This puts a lot of pressure onto Legendary and Warner Brothers as they enter post-production on Godzilla vs. Kong, set to be the final film in the MonsterVerse until Toho decides on their future with Legendary. Regardless of Toho's decision, we think it would be best for the MonsterVerse to go back in time should future installments happen. Every great story has a beginning, middle, and end. Certain parts are more drawn out than others, but that's just basic storytelling structure for any narrative. With the MonsterVerse, the narrative in the modern setting has been the return of the Titans and humanity's response, with the focus being Godzilla and Kong. However, it appears that the plot will hit its peak once Godzilla vs. Kong is released next year. This is due to the human conspiracy, which many believe to be either Mechagodzilla or an advanced anti-Titan weapon. This development between humanity and the Titans can't continue beyond a moment where the ultimate anti-Titan weapon is created and used on Godzilla and/or Kong. The reason is that either humanity uses the weapons to kill the Titans, or they refuse to use the weapons since they realize the Titans aren't a real threat. With either the destruction or the acceptance of the Titans, there isn't really much else to explore besides a derivative of the same story. This is a problem the Transformers and Fast and Furious franchises faced, resulting in one franchise becoming extremely convoluted and the other becoming a parody of itself. This is why we think the MonsterVerse should instead focus its attention to exploring the world it has teased prior to the Titans hibernating, a world confirmed to have regular interactions between Titans and humanity, which may or may not have included Atlantis. When Godzilla needed to heal during King of the Monsters, he rested in a temple built in his honor. As discovered by modern monarch scientists, this underwater kingdom was created by humans with reverence towards the Titans. The architecture and art shown was similar to Egyptian, Greek, and Roman styles, which made audience members debate if this was Atlantis. This would add new layers to the history of the MonsterVerse, as we've already seen Titans such as Mothra have a history with human characters. A similar relationship has also been shown between Kong and the natives of Skull Island. In general though, most Titans were worshipped by neighboring cultures, which provides potential stories for each Titan in that respective culture. It would also be interesting to witness a civilization without current technologies which operated in balance with various Titans. A setting featuring cohabitation of Titans and humanity along with mutual respect between Godzilla and humans would be an interesting contrast to the current setting of the MonsterVerse. A potential story could be Ghidorah, based upon his weather distortion abilities, and Alpha Call created chaos amongst the Titans, and during that chaos, Atlantis is sunken and lost. Overall, this would just be a very refreshing and satisfying next step for the MonsterVerse. Regardless of an underwater city though, it would be nice to see many Titans during their primes. For example, before the Mutos killed off Godzilla's species, the landscape of the MonsterVerse was likely a different place. Similar sentiments could be made for Kong and the genocide of his species by the Skullcrawlers. It would be enjoyable to see how the Titans operated before their environment around them changed. Due to the gamble of this specific type of direction for the MonsterVerse, maybe it would be best suited for an anthology type series on a streaming service such as the upcoming Warner Media HBO Max. Otherwise, there would be extreme pressure on a CGI-heavy film to make profit, and Toho may lose interest. Another interesting approach would be the audience witnessing untold stories of Godzilla's activity over the centuries, and this, like the previously mentioned idea, could also be an anthology series with a different setting each episode or season. The possibilities are really endless, with creativity and a vision for long-term success. But what do you guys think about this? Do you want to see Godzilla and the MonsterVerse continue after Godzilla vs. Kong, and possibly explore prequel stories set well before the current timeline? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, and for more updates on everything in the MonsterVerse and pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.